Well, the Benedict option, which is 5 years old this month, March,
Yeah.
it came out in March 2017 in the US, and it became a big hit. I didn't anticipate this, but I think it came at just the right moment when Christians in the US were starting to feel that something is changing. We don't really know what, but things don't feel like they used to, that maybe we're losing ground. And the Benedict option book gave them an analysis, a theory of what's happening, and a suggestion for how to meet this moment. It became very controversial because Christians don't want to believe that it's over for us, that we aren't in control of the culture anymore. I wish it weren't this way. I'm a Christian. I wish that we still live in a Christian culture. The fact is, we don't. And if we are going to hold on to the faith, then we need to change the way we live as Christians. So many Christians in America want to believe that this is only a matter of voting for Republicans, voting for conservative politicians, and everything will be okay. It's just not true. Now, a lot of people have said, critics of the book who have not even read the book, are saying, well, Dreher is telling us we have to all head for the hills and build a fortress, and we don't agree with that, therefore the book is wrong. Well, first of all, I'm not saying that. There's no escaping from this post-Christian world. We have to live in it. But if we are going to live in it as faithful Christians and bear witness to Christ and present Christ to the post-Christian world, then we as Christians have to live differently. Because if you look at our children, they're losing the faith. I mean, in the US now, we stayed more faithful than Europe for a long time, but now we are rapidly catching up to the de-Christianization that has been happening here in Europe. We all need each other in a big way. And I'm happy that the book has been such a hit among Christians in Europe, because in the next decade or 2 decades in America, we are all going to be looking to European Christians to tell us how to hold on to our faith when suddenly the world has changed. I think that the most important thing we're going to have to face as Christians and as people of the West is going to be transhumanism. The idea that we can and should use technology and science to change the human genome, to create a new species, to be God, to play God, Homo Deus. There are people in Silicon Valley who think this is fantastic. And the rest of us normal people never think about the problems with this because we have become so catechized by radical individualism and consumer capitalism into thinking that if we want it, then we deserve it. We should have it. There should be no limits to what we want. When you see the younger generation of people, even if they're not transgender, they completely accept it, it's because they have not been taught that there is any such thing as transcendent values, that there is any such thing as natural limits. And so they experience anyone telling them no as oppression. But I don't see how we can run a civilization this way. I remember when I was growing up in the 70s, as you mentioned, we at least had some reference to the past, some reference to the church and to higher values to guide us. That seems completely gone now. With this new woke totalitarianism around us, the people who run our institutions, educational institutions, media, government, big business, even the military now, law, medicine, they've all accepted this woke ideology that is based on identity politics, a very crude identity politics. They deny the meaning of the past because if the past has meaning to us, if it puts any sort of restraint on us, then we can't do what we want. It's all about making people forget about their past so they know nothing, so they can be remade to do what those in power want them to do. When I look at things like the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, the Great Reset, I have a chill down my spine because I think these people, they're not consciously evil, but I think they are restrained by absolutely nothing, only their greed and their desire to control the world. And I think this is something we're going to have to face. The Chinese, for example, they're going to be the great rival of the West in this century. They already are. It's going to become more that way. they have managed to figure out how to get rich and provide for material comfort without providing for liberty.